as we prepare our hearts for prayer, I encourage you to find the posture of prayer, whether it be at the altar or at your seats or standing or whatever that you feel led to take and to pray in this morning. As always, we have many different prayer requests amongst our people, amongst our community. Let's continue to pray for those that are grieving various losses in their life, whether it be a loved one or just possessions or a job or whatever. Lord, let's ask the Lord that He would be the comforter for those that are grieving. Let's also continue to pray for those that are sick or not feeling well or are in pain. We have several that have various different types of pain that makes it hard to get here, and so let's be praying for them. Be praying for those that have COVID. Thank the Lord. I praise the Lord that He's brought me through this far, and I pray that I want to pray us to pray that He would do the same with others as well. Let's also continue to pray for those that are traveling through the summer. It's still summer, even though the past few days have kind of felt a little bit more like fall. It's still summer, so let's be praying for those that are traveling or will be traveling. Let's also continue to pray for our community, especially with the new school year coming up, our kids, our schools, our teachers, those that are on the educational front lines that I haven't mentioned. Let's be praying for them as well. Are there any other prayer requests this morning? I don't think I see anybody. So let's go ahead and go to the Lord in prayer this morning. Lord, we thank you once again for this opportunity to be here, Lord. And I pray that you would just make your presence known here this morning, Lord. I pray that you be with all the needs that are represented in this congregation and in our community, Lord. The breadth and the different types, the scope of types of needs, Lord, is great, but Lord, you are greater, Lord. So, Lord, I pray that you be with those that are grieving, whatever they may be grieving, Lord. I pray that your promise to be the comforter for those that mourn, those that grieve, Lord, I pray that you would just be that comforting presence in their lives, Lord. Lord, I pray that you be with those that aren't feeling well, whether it be sickness or pain and just or even mental illness and challenges that way, Lord. I pray that you just be with each and every one that needs your healing touch and your reassurance of your presence, Lord. We pray that even if it's not your will to heal, Lord, we pray that it's your will, but Lord, if it's not, Lord, I pray that you just make those that are struggling know your presence and your love in a special way, Lord. Lord, I pray that you would just be with our community, Lord, and those that are going back to school, those that are preparing for the new school year, be it kids or teachers or just other administrative or other jobs in the school. Lord, I pray that you would just help them prepare, help them to be ready and to help them to keep our kids safe and the community safe, Lord. And I pray that you would just be present in the schools, Lord, even amongst those that do not know you, Lord. I pray that your presence and your grace and your love would be just overflowing, Lord. Lord, I pray that you would just go with us as we leave this place and after the message and after hearing about what you're doing and Kenya, what you did in Kenya, Lord. I pray that you would just go with us and remind us of your presence and your grace in our lives, Lord, and help us to show that presence and that grace and that love to others, Lord. Lord, I pray that you be with any other need that's unspoken or I haven't mentioned, Lord. I pray that you would just be especially close to those that may not feel like they can share, Lord. I pray that they would know that you know and that you are caring and loving enough to already know and already be working. Lord, I pray that you would just, again, be with the rest of this time that we're here together. And I pray this in your name. Amen. I'm going to show another short, well, not real short, another video with some more stuff on there. And I don't know if you can go ahead and click on it, and then Jen and I will come and share a little bit what God's doing in Kenya. Yes, yep.
1, 2, 3, 4.
If you want to go ahead and move it to that first picture slide. I know some of that might have been a little bit harder to see and whatnot. If you have access to Facebook, those will be shared on Facebook. Both the videos I'll make sure are shared to our Facebook, mine, but also the churches, just so you have access to those. This morning, we just want to share a little bit of what God did on our trip and some of the people that we met and worked with. Of course, we can't give everything that God did and everything that we would want to share, or you guys would be here forever. Also, that would steal some good sermon material for later. So I won't share everything, so you'll have to come back and hear me preach and see if you get tidbits of other stuff later. But I we do want to share some, and if you have any questions at the end, before we end with and we'll have to grab a element, but we'll end with communion for a very certain reason. But before we do that, if you have any questions, we can do that then and answer any of those questions. But also, if you want to come to us, you probably won't get too close to me, but if you want to come and ask questions in person, you can do that too, quote unquote, privately as well. But this is our team. You can't really probably see everybody real well because some of us are kind of behind that wall. But we were supposed to have 31 people in our group. Only one of them wasn't able to go. There were several that got COVID right before, but they had enough of a window where they could be healed and whatnot. And so we only had one person that could not go. So we had 30, so that's a pretty big team. We had people from Saginaw and from like the Three Rivers area and Grand Rapids and Muskegon, all over our district. There's quite a few from the Lansing area, from Mason, Lansing South. Pastor Brad, who's our DS now, and his wife went, but he was the pastor at Lansing South whenever they were first planning the trip, so he brought a lot of his people on the trip for that. So it was really cool to kind of just get to know everybody, how God had, been working in their lives up to this point, and then seeing how God was using each of us, even though we may not have been, the best builders in the world, the best, painters in the world, how God was using all of us in special ways, unique to our talents and whatnot. And so, again, there's lots of cool stories in all of those people. One of them is a family of 5, the Mulders from Muskegon Breakwater. Devin, the husband of the family, the father of the family, his mother is a pastor in Holt, but Amy's dad, and the kid's grandfather had helped build one of the chapels before the university was even there, and so they came and got to see what their grandfather had done and all that kind of stuff. So it was really kind of cool to see that. But again, I could give you all these different stories, but there is one person from the trip I do want to share about. I got to spend a lot of time with her because since I am not necessarily a handyman, can you go to the next picture, hopefully? Yeah. Since I'm not really a handyman, I kind of got thrown into wherever they could use somebody. And a lot of time, for the whole time, that was the food team, which I do love to cook. I do love to do stuff like that. But that wasn't what I was expecting to do for majority of my mornings. But that's what we did, and I got to spend time with Jackie. Her name is, the last name, my brain's not working. But Jackie, we called her Jackie Poppins because it seemed like she had a bag everywhere she goes, and everywhere she went, if we needed something, she had it in the bag. And so I don't know if you've seen Mary Poppins, but she picks like big things out of the suitcases that don't seem like they could fit in there. Well, she did the same thing. She's from Saginaw Valley, I think, Church of the Nazarene, and she is an amazing lady. So if you see her around on our district things, definitely say hi. She'll love to say hi to you and all that kind of stuff. But God definitely used her. She lost her phone on the way to Africa, and so that was her camera as well and everything like that. And so that would have ruined a lot of people's kind of whole trip, like not being able to take pictures, not being able to contact home in the way they wanted to. Why it did kind of put a damper on things. She always had a smile on her face, always willing to help, always willing to be there and do whatever needs to happen. we went to the grocery store to get stuff for our team, and she's like, what do you and Jenna want for snacks and stuff? I'm going to buy it. And it's like, okay. She just wants to take care of people. And so I definitely wanted to share about her. She is one of the most amazing ladies I've ever met in my life. But she is, but be praying for her and her ministry. But she is awesome. So go ahead to the next one. Sorry. Again, I'm going to probably ramble a little bit. Here's the missionaries that we worked with the most. The one in the middle, with the gray hair in the middle, his name is Jim Franklin. The person that was supposed to be there originally for our team, once the trip got pushed back, he was on home assignment, and so they didn't have anybody there for us yet to kind of like be a coordinator. So they brought him in he's from Idaho, like Seattle area, I believe, somewhere in the Northwest. And they brought him in. He's done tons of work with Witness. He did an awesome job. But be praying for him as well. He came and left kind of basically as we came and left. But his wife has really bad arthritis, and they just basically told her just like last week that they don't think they can do anything for her to make her any better. So they've been asking for our prayers for his wife Nancy, I believe is her name. The guy on this side, his name is, I don't know, his name is Mitchell. He is the Work and Witness, like volunteer missionary there that's going to be helping all the teams in the future. He's actually from southern part of Mexico, and it took him a really long time to get his visas and everything to get over there, but he's a civil engineer. He has lots of skills in the area, but be praying for him as this is a completely new situation, and now he's in a place where he's using English, which I don't believe is his first language, but he knows it very well. He's very fluent in English, but he's then going to a place where English is, some people don't know English, even English. So just be praying for him as he starts this new job. His name's Mitchell again, and then the couple on the side right here are the Frasers. The husband is Dr. Fraser. He is a professor in the ministry and in the ministry department, and then his wife Carla is in an accounting area, but she did a lot, at least for our team, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So I got to spend a lot of time with her. It seems like I was always there at the right time to count money. So when you go on a mission trip, you bring a lot of money that has to be changed, and you have to double check to make sure you got the right thing. So I don't even know how much money I counted, how many times to double check and everything with her. But she did a lot of work, and I just be praying for them as well. Her husband had a really bad bout of sepsis, and almost, they were afraid for his life about 6 months ago. And so just be praying for them as they're away from family. All their family is here in the States. They actually used to live in Grand Rapids, their family. But be praying for the Frasers as well. But go ahead to the next slide. Sorry, again, I'm going to try to get through this as well as I can, but not tell you too much, I guess, because I don't want to take all of Jenna's time, because I will. On the left right here, or on I guess it'd be your guys' right, or no, your left. Their left. I'm not very good at directions, sorry. Left, that is Jane. She is a Sunday school teacher, and she does children's church at the church that we went to. She did a really good job with Sunday school. She has a degree from A&U, and I believe she's going back for her master's there. And she is just an awesome lady, and she does a work study and kind of helps take care of the missionary's house that was while they were gone. She's kind of helping make sure everything's taken care of and everything like that. So we had to talk to her a lot about, how to do different things. And one time she said, "You're doing something that's taboo," because she came in and I was washing dishes, and she's like, "The man doesn't do that here in Kenya." I was like, "Well, I got to do what you got to do." Nobody else was washing them, so I washed them. But it was just a kind of good learning experience to get to talk to her about, her culture and everything, even though she might not have been used to seeing somebody like me washing dishes. It was good to just get to know her and talk to her around that kind of atmosphere. The guy on the right his name is Jermaine. He is a basketball player from ANU that he's graduated, but he used to be a basketball player. Now he helps assist with teams and everything like that. Be praying again for him as well as he just continues to seek what the Lord wants to do in his life. The Lord has definitely used him on our trip. He was just an awesome guy. But yeah, so go ahead to the next one. Sorry. Jen's so much better of a speaker than I am. On the left is Wilson. He is Maasai. He kind of was our guide to go over that one bridge that you may have seen pictures of. But he was really good just to kind of get to know. And he's dressed up as a Maasai. Maasai tribe as what they call the Maasai warrior kind of corps, and so that's kind of what. Not a lot of people wear this like where we were in Nairobi, but if you go to the Maasai villages and some of the villages that are kind of on the outskirts, you might see a little bit of that. But most of the people that we interacted with had T-shirts, polos, all that kind of stuff on, just like here. On the middle picture and the last picture are go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Better? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll start over. So the three people in the middle there, the lady on the left, her name is Lynn, and she is Jermaine's fiance, and she is a student at ANU right now. Her story is really cool because she is the first person in her family to go to college. She came from a village. She's going to college. She wants to get a degree in business. And right now she's already started her own little shop. She has her little Instagram store where she embroiders t-shirts and sells them. And so while we were there, our team was able to buy a pretty large order to kind of help her out. And she made our t-shirts in like 3 days while we were there in order for us to have them to come home. She needed about $150 US in order to pay for the rest of her schooling for this semester that she didn't have, and she needed it by Monday. And so our team was able to take up an offering while we were there, and we not only paid for this semester, but for next semester too, which will be her last one in college. So we were able to provide for the rest of her schooling. The two people next to her and the man on the right painting are part of the basketball team, and it was really cool because the man on the right is actually their coach, and they said, hey, we would love to help. And so it was really cool that we weren't just Americans coming there to do it all, but we were working together to make their school better. And so they just jumped in. They were eager to paint and do whatever was needed, and that was awesome. If you want to go to the next slide, Jesse. So, actually keep going. When is that? Can you go to the ones with the painting? The slides where it shows people painting. Sorry. Okay, here we go. I think this is important to share now to explain why we even went on this trip. So we were the first team of 6 work and witness teams that are going to be there in the next couple of months. And they've been planning this for many years, but obviously because of the pandemic, it's been pushed back and pushed back. So this project they're working on, I think they're calling it the 21st Century Technology Project, and they need to upgrade all of the classrooms at ANU. When we arrived, the walls were just filthy, probably haven't been painted in several years. They didn't really have any technology like you see in our universities here, and so during the pandemic when everything kind of shut down and they moved to remote learning, it was very hard for them to kind of retain students and still be able to teach them virtually. And so our team was able to bring over about $5,000 in supplies, equipment, technology for them to be able to use because it's really hard to get there. And so before we left, we all brought our suitcases and spread them out, and we all distributed all of these supplies out. And when we first arrived and we were about to go through customs, there was just a lot of anxiety because they could have just said, what is all of this stuff? You know, you can't bring this in. They could have taken it all from us. We've heard stories of that happening before. And praise the Lord, we walked right through. No issues whatsoever. All of the equipment got through, and we were able to provide this to the school. And so what our main job there was, they thought maybe we would get 1 or 2 classrooms painted and finished while we were there. We ended up doing, I think, 3 classrooms, which one of them actually was divided into 3 sections, so total of probably 5 classrooms, an office and several hallways, and 1 classroom with full technology now. So it has this really cool system called an owl, and so there's a camera in the center of the classroom, and whoever's talking, the camera goes to. So now when students are learning online, they can see the people in their class who are speaking. They now have the 2 TVs set up. They have speakers set up so that the professor can use a microphone to speak. It's just really awesome because this is going to be a huge blessing for them in the years to come. My main job, I was on the painting team. In that video, you probably saw tons of pictures of me on a ladder. I was up and down the ladder the whole time. I was in charge of branding, and so on every classroom, they had a red wall in the back, and then on the sides, there was striping that goes down just to match their branding. And then I also got to paint 2 logos. So I love the fine detail artwork kind of stuff, and so I got to paint a logo for the student council on a hallway wall and then inside the student council office. So that was really exciting. You can just kind of, I don't know if those have been cycling, Jesse, keep those. So there you can see the red wall we did. This is the classroom that got completely finished. This was just another classroom. We sprayed all of the ceilings. So the ceilings, what had happened is when they built the roof, they didn't do it properly, and so it was just getting lots of water damage. So all of these ceiling tiles, we spray painted white to make them look brand new again. Some of them we took down and had to replace. They just got their roof replaced. It was about $1.5 million. And so that was another reason these projects have been on hold, because there was no point in putting all this work into these classrooms and then just having the rain keep causing damage to it. So they were able to get their roof fixed, and now they're able to make all of these upgrades.
That building that you did is not just the chapel, but the gymnasium, but it also has like probably 20 plus classrooms in it. So,
Yep.
I mean, you said that much to replace the roof, but I mean, it's very important and very large. I mean, probably in the States, it probably would cost a lot more to replace that roof than what it did. But yeah, it was very important. That building is pretty interesting how it's set up, but it's go ahead. You want to go ahead and?
Do I talk about the beads?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can go back to the slide before where we were at.
We're going to test Jesse's skills.
Yeah, sorry, Jesse. Okay, the next one after this. All right, so in the video you saw where people were singing and dancing. This place was really cool. It was called Kazuri Beads. And what they started this is to employ disadvantaged women. So most of them are single mothers who've come out of the villages. A lot of them are coming out of severe poverty that you couldn't even imagine, and they now employ 340 women. They just opened this brand new building that we got to tour just a few weeks before we even got there. And they hand make all of these beads. I'm wearing a bracelet and earrings I got from there today. They make them with clay, they fire them, and then they hand paint all of them. And so we were able to go and I think we put a pretty significant dent in their inventory and we're able to support them and just talk to them. And as you saw, I got to sing and dance, and that was just a really, really cool experience for us too.
I will mention one thing. Not just this here, but somebody else said it as well. Before the pandemic, they said that unemployment was at 75% before the pandemic. And so after the pandemic, they don't have numbers, I don't think, well enough to know, but you know it got worse than that. And so one part of the issue is just have jobs being available. And I mean, there's a lot of people that do like side jobs or gig work, like delivery or taxi kind of stuff like that may not be counted in that kind of thing. But there's also a lot of people in rural areas that just kind of subsistence farming and living. But there is a huge level of poverty amongst just the kind of the lower class or the regular working class. And so you'll see a lot of kids, you'll see a lot of adults just kind of sitting on the side of the road sometimes, not just because, they're lazy, because most of them could do a lot more work than probably any of us could do, but a lot of them just don't have jobs or things that are available to them. So places like this kind of help with that kind of need, especially women that are coming out of abusive situations or things like that with this group. Go ahead to the next slide. Another job we did several different jobs. Another job we did was help set up the tent for graduation. There was 800 graduates, and they were only allowed to bring 2 family members or whatever guests. Most of them probably tried to bring like bus loads of people, because some of them are the first time and anybody in their village or any of their family graduated. So it's kind of hard to limit it, but there was this huge, it was bigger than a football or soccer field, a tent that we put up, and you see people kind of like tugged it over the panels over the top. I don't know if you've ever seen something done like that before, but it was very interesting. I went over there and they were almost done, so I didn't get to help very much, but it was definitely an interesting experience, and we set that up for graduation. Once graduation happened, since we were guests from the United States, they made us go on the stage and sit on the stage for graduation, which was a really cool experience. Just all the joy and excitement for graduation was just really cool. We didn't know that this was going to happen, and they really kind of were trying to, figure out when they could do it because of COVID. So it was just kind of a cool incident that we got to do this, and we really, it was really just an awesome experience being able to experience their graduation.
I don't think this picture does it justice, but this tent was so big that 4,000 people could sit underneath it. So this was a big deal, yeah.
Yes, this is like in their soccer field, so it's probably like 2 soccer fields worth or whatever. Yeah. Go ahead to the next picture, I think is from the graduation. This is not even all the people, but this is some of the graduates that were coming. They have like 20 plus nations. We even had somebody from Kuwait, United States graduating, and Qatar, I think, was one of them or something like that. Just like Middle East and Africa. And an interesting thing is there's about 4% Muslim that even attend the university, and so just a big mission field. It definitely was different than any other kind of mission trip I've been on. I've been used to the ones that go kind of do the witness more than the work. This is a lot of work, and we were in one place most of the time, the whole time, instead of traveling around doing different things. And so that was different for me, but it was really cool just to kind of see the university, see the impact it's having across Africa. One thing that they mentioned is they're looking at doing a French-speaking program, because a lot of Africa either speaks, there's different languages, but the national language is either French or English, and so they don't have a French language program in most of those countries that it's like ANU, so they're looking at starting that. And so that was kind of cool with these classrooms. They might be able to kind of do that a little bit better as well. So go ahead to the last couple slides of the pictures if you can. Jenna helped do that right there by hand, but anyway, next. We also, Jenna mentioned that we were the first one. I was 6. We're the first one that's gone there, and like there was a team right before the pandemic, everything shut down, but we were the first team to go back, and so a lot of it was trying to figure out what they needed for teams in the future. And also, Jenna said we brought 5,000. I think that was just technology, because I believe I heard that we brought $13,000 worth of tools, like power equipment, screwdrivers, batteries, impact drivers and all that kind of stuff. We brought lots and lots of, we had like probably 20,000 worth of stuff or close to it. That was either donated by other groups or our district paid for it. And we took this cube, this storage, it's a shipping container, and we took it from basically nothing, and then, go to the next slide, and set up a whole kind of workshop organization system so that next groups that come in or anybody on the campus come in, and there's a system where they check out things and they know what box to go and get it out of. Not my strong suit, but there's people that definitely did a really good job of organizing that and building those shelves from scratch, and they were out there, with the table saw and different kinds of things, just building that from scratch. And so that was really cool to see them do that. A lot of the other pastors did that, and it was really cool, and maybe want to kind of learn some of those skills as well. But
it was really neat because a lot of times they just didn't have what we needed, so we had to improvise a lot. And so some of this wood that they used to build this, they were taking apart like bed frames and chairs and tables and just whatever wood that they could get a hold of that was no longer being used for something else. They just improvised, and they were able to create this beautiful storage system. And then one of the ladies on our team brought her little label maker, and she was able to label each of the cubes for them. So that happened several times with painting. We just, when I was painting that detailed stuff, we didn't have any small brushes, so we were cutting brushes and just doing what we could with what we had. And it was just really cool to see our team be so flexible in that way. Here in the States, I feel like, we would complain, or we would just be like, oh, let's just run to the store and get that. Well, there, that just wasn't an option. And so everyone just kind of made do with what we had to get the job done.
And with the roads and not necessarily being straight anywhere or very easily travel very fast, you couldn't just go run to Home Depot. Or, for example, we needed a rotary saw blade, and we went to 3 different stores, and they didn't have it. But it took us like 2.5 hours to go to 3 different stores, and it wasn't maybe 10 miles away, but we had to go all those stores, and they couldn't find it. So a lot of this stuff is either really expensive there or not available there easily or accessibly without going to a very high-end place or whatever. But so a lot of this stuff was really important for the next few groups that are going. I believe Eastern Michigan is going soon, and just a lot of groups are going, and so be praying for them as well as they go. I believe the next one is, and I also did devotions, and we went through the Lord's Prayer. I know we did that sermon series. I went through the Lord's Prayer on Sunday, on the mornings. I don't know why I said Sunday. In the mornings, and we just went through the Lord's Prayer and kind of applied it to a mission trip, applied it to our trip. It really was awesome how the Lord spoke, and the Lord just really used that time to grow us closer. And there was times where we had spontaneous prayer and singing and stuff like that, where just the Lord was very present. And we all came from different places. We all came from different, styles of preferred worship and what we're used to seeing at church and all that kind of stuff. But we just really I don't know, the Lord was just really present, and it was really awesome to see that. And we really got along so well. With 30 people, there's always a chance where people are going to make you really upset or whatever. And while people did get on our nerves at times, it wasn't bad, and it was really awesome how God worked in that. Go ahead to the next slide. I forgot that cuts out towards the side, but it says ANU, you probably can tell that, and Kenya. And so, is there anything else you want to share before I do this? Okay. There's a couple things I want you guys to be praying for as we go, as we leave here. I want you to be praying for these things. If you remember it, that'd be great. The Kenyan elections happened at the beginning of this past week, and they're still waiting for results. And the longer you wait for results, the more questions of whether there's fraud or rigging or all those kind of things. And then there's been a past distrust in the election system and violence. And so I haven't heard that there's been violence yet, but once the results come in, I'm sure that the other group will at least have a little bit of demonstration. So be praying for them. They shut down the schools. They shut down ANU, basically. Don't go anywhere during this time after they go to vote. So be praying for them. Be praying that it's just as peaceful as possible. But there's a lot of history, a lot of tribal history that goes into it. So just be praying for them. The work and witness coordinator, Mitchell Ramos, be praying for him as he continues his job. He'll be there for at least a year. Just be praying that he, just has everything he needs, and the Lord continues to use him in that way. Future work and witness teams, again, I said pray for those. There's going to be several coming in the next few months, and so be praying for them as they go. ANU staff and students, we got to know a lot more people than we even mentioned, and some of the kitchen workers were the friendliest people, the nicest people you could ever get to know. And just some students and security guards that they had watching different areas and stuff. They were just, we felt like we made a ton of new friends. And so just be praying for them as well. And then we did hear about some other Nazarene churches and ministries in Kenya. Just be praying for the country of Kenya and what the Lord is doing there in general. Not just Nazarenes, but others as well. I met a friend that I had made the last time I was in Kenya, and he's doing something with Because International, which they have like the shoe that grows, and so he's even doing stuff that's not necessarily Nazarene related, but there's so much God is doing in Kenya. So be praying as God does those things during the next years to come. I forgot to get a communion element. You want to go ahead and grab one for me? Oh, we can do. I forgot. Yeah. Is there any questions? I know we kind of information dumped on you guys. We probably didn't do the best job of it, but any questions? No pressure. All right. Oh, yep. The only thing I'm sure that's happened, but that happened in Haiti a little while ago. I don't know if it happened while we were in Africa. I didn't hear about it, so I haven't heard about it. So I'm not sure. Sorry. It is definitely a big continent. And once you've been to one place or one village in Africa, you've been to one village in Africa. Kind of like the United States. I mean, we kind of like to put it in a box and say, think about Africa as like one big thing, but it's definitely, just like the United States, each town is different, each village is different, each country is different with their own history and everything. And so there's just so much that we learned, so much to love about Kenya and Africa. But yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm sure that's happened before, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. Any other questions? All right, I wanted to do communion this morning, partially because we didn't get to do it last week like I was planning on doing it the first Sunday anyway, but while we were speaking anyway. But the church that we attended in Africa, in Kenya and Nairobi, I believe this Sunday is going to be doing communion. They announced it. They were going to be doing communion. And so something really cool that we get to do is take communion, and we do it with others around the world. And so, yes, they may have done it about 6 hours ago or 7 hours ago, but they're still taking communion on this day together, and we can do this kind of as a global family. As a global family, we can take communion, remembering what God has done. And so I want us to take the elements, and if you want to go ahead and open them, they're a little bit hard to open sometimes, so I'll let you go ahead and open if you'd like. And that way you don't have to fight it while we're in the moment. There's some more back there on that table, I believe, or somewhere. I don't know where they got put, but if you need one. But But as we prepare to take communion, again, I want to remind you that we don't just do this as individuals. We don't just do this as a church here or family groups in the church or the whole church, but we do this as a global Christian family. And we do this remembering what God did. He loved the world that he sent his only son. He didn't love the United States. He didn't love just Africa. He didn't love North America, Europe, or anything like that. He loved the whole world. And as we take communion, we remember that God loves the whole world, and he sent his son who bled and died for us. And so as we take this communion, as we take the bread, remember that he came and he gave his body, which was broken for us, for you and me, for Jermaine, for all the missionaries, for all the people all around the world. He broke his body for each one before we even knew him, before we even loved him. So as you take this, remember that sacrifice that Jesus gave for us. So take and eat the bread. And he took the cup. Jesus took the cup during the Last Supper, and he said, this is a sign of the new covenant. The covenant before didn't include other people necessarily other than God's people, the Israelites. But Jesus was saying that I am opening it up to the whole world now. This new covenant is for all people, and I shed my blood for everyone. And so as we take the cup, as we drink this grape juice, let us remember that Jesus shed his blood for us. Again, not just us here, but us as a global family of God. So let's take and drink. As I said, we prayed, we did the Lord's Prayer in our devotions. I'm gonna have her play a video, and I want us, before she plays it, I want us as a group together to try to pray it with those on the video, the Lord's Prayer together. Whatever version you know, even if you know a different language you want to say, that's fine as well. Mitchell was speaking in Spanish. I don't know if you'll be able to hear him, but he was speaking in Spanish, and others may have been praying in a different language. But can you try to pray it together? Because I think there's power in praying the Lord's Prayer together with people across time, across the world. And so let's go ahead and play that, and let's try to say it together if we can. Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Church, receive this closing prayer benediction. Lord, we thank you for what you're doing here and far, near and far. We thank you for what you're doing in big and small ways, Lord. Lord, I thank you that we can be your witnesses and doing handiwork and cooking meals and everyday things, Lord. Whether it's here or in Kenya or whatever, Lord, I pray that you would remind us that you want to use us for your glory, Lord. Help us to seek ways that we can be used by you, Lord. Lord, I pray that you would be with those in Kenya that Jenna and I got to know. Lord, I pray that you just have safety over them and protection over them for the election season, Lord. And I just pray that you be with all the other requests that I mentioned, Lord. Lord, I pray that you would go with us today, Lord, giving us love and grace for the journey ahead. wherever that may take us, to love you and to love others with all that we are. I pray this in your name. Amen. Again, you are dismissed, and if you want, some tags are up here. If you need